try to falsify certain theories? Sure. Is that a bad thing? No. But the actual auxiliary hypotheses, multiple ones that are needed in an experiment to falsify a proposition, not all the auxiliary hypotheses can be subjected to a falsification test. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that a falsification test that falsifies a theory is necessarily wrong. It could, in actuality, falsify something. But given the fact that we're not omniscient, we have the problem of what is called underdetermination. That any proposition that is used as a negator or a defeater for a theory itself cannot be ultimately verified because of the problem of underdetermination. Mm-hmm. So whatever proposition or falsification test that we present to falsify a theory itself is tentative and provisional. Okay? It might be true, but in the future we might find out that it might be false. This is called the problem of underdetermination.
Problem of underdetermination. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm gonna add asymptomatic up here.
All right. I'm going to be try very hard not to be goaded by his obvious antagonism and continued badgering, because that's all Darth does.
Yeah, we're not.
He knows nothing
here.
about science.
This
Science is about falsifiable statements. If it's not falsifiable, it's not science. So you pull your ridiculous sources all you want. Every statement in science must be falsifiable.
Okay,
that's how we build a theory.
You are quite ignorant. Okay, so what
are your scientific credentials, Darth?
Sir,
I have a master's in cellular and molecular biology, Darth. You don't know what you're talking about.
Now,
I'm a scientist.
Carefully. Final warning: if you continue to
shut up, Darth. You antagonized me. You won. You won again. You antagonist.
Okay, you're done. You're done. So what he's doing is he's stating something that's not true. Okay, the falsification criterion is not held universally by scientists. That falsification is a tool within scientific investigation is true, but it is not the preeminent sole arbiter of what is science. What he's advocating is what is called Popperianism, which was devised by Sir Karl Popper, one of the great philosophers in science, that says if a theory in science is not subject to either falsification or falsification in principle, then it doesn't make the demarcation into the realm of science. Okay? Mm. Now, not all scientists agree with that. There is no 100% unanimity as to what the definition, exercises, and practices of science are. Is falsification a bad thing? No. An attempt to falsify theories is a good thing. But neither should we exalt something that's a good thing in science as the ultimate gold standard. There are many endeavors where scientists are doing research in terms of computer modeling that they can't falsify. Okay? It's that simple. So he's just making an elementary mistake, this popular amateur notion that the falsification criteria and unilateral definition of science. That's simply not the case, because there are many endeavors in science that don't involve falsification. You see, the more you know about the philosophy of science, you're going to understand the limitations of the falsification principle. But the less you know about science, you might be enamored to think that the falsification criterion is the ultimate and singular gold standard for all that is considered science. And you would fail that in a philosophy of science course if you held to that view. Welcome, Papa. What would you like to say?
Oh, we going away. You run always. But Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah, well, let's see, anarcho-chemist. Yeah, you're just a drive-by. Good, come on up, anarcho. Come on up, Anarcho. Tell me what I don't understand. Come on up. I invited you. If you don't come up and defend your accusation, you're getting muted.
Yeah, clearly a coward.
You see, they don't come up. They like to shoot their mouths off in the text.
Clearly a coward.
Well, most of the people in the chat are cowards.
I mean, in the chat we had.
Oh, good. He does have a pair of balls. Tell me what I'm wrong about.
Loser. I just wanted to point out that I was going to literally be typing that I was beside my sleeping partner, so I wasn't going to join, but you muted me before I could even comment it, because someone's a salty old loser, like Darth. So
that's not a substantive response. So tell me how I don't know something about science.
And he runs away.
And he runs away because he's sleeping next to his partner. Yeah, you don't want to wake your boyfriend, do you?
I don't think he has a wife. Maybe whatever that is identified itself as a woman, but it's clearly not a woman.
Yeah. Welcome, Icy. What would you like to say?
I love you guys. Hope you guys have a very good day.
If you don't speak, you're going to get muted.
You guys can hear me? Hello?
Oh, he did speak, Darth. Darth?
Yeah, that was he got removed before he started speak. The second before he used to speak.
Oh.
Yeah, and Anarcho, you're not coming up again because you showed that your parents didn't civilize you. That's our anarcho-chemist. It is. Yeah, stop. Hey, anarcho-chemist, stop sending invite requests or you're going to get blocked. Welcome, Icy. What would you like to say?
I would just like to say that I love you guys. I hope you guys have a very good night. I don't really want to argue with you guys. I just want to know, like, what do you guys hope to accomplish with this live?
Well, what we're doing is we're evangelizing through apologetics, that God's revelation in creation and through the Bible cannot be rationally denied, but God permits them to irrationally deny it. That's why 98 to 99% of our interlocutors who oppose just act like feral cats.
So, like, I kind of have like a question, like, within that, right? Like, do you ever see your existence as pointless?
No, because I'm made in the image of God, and one day I will live on in glory and be happy with Him forever because Christ died on the cross and rose again from the dead.
Amen.
Okay?
Yeah, but like this eternal happiness, right? It has no actual consequence. Like, it was something that happens.
Why is what you're saying not a figment of your imagination?
I mean, it probably is, but what's wrong with imagination?
No. Well, if it is, then I'm not interested in your arbitrary thoughts.
Imagination is very important.
No, sir. When you say something is important, okay, if it's important, okay,
are cards important?
What makes it important?
Yeah, okay. It can bring value to life. For example, a car was imagined.
Dude, listen to me. You're not getting what I'm presenting to you. Okay, when you say something is important, is that a figment of your imagination?
Yeah, and importance is literally.
Okay, good. Then all you're just invoking your statements, which simply constitute a figment of your imagination.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter.
Bye.
That doesn't even really.
Bye. Yeah. I'm so glad that the children that I brought into this world aren't such low information like that.
This is crazy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of people that are just dumb. By the way, how long did it take you to braid your hair?
It took me hours. It took me probably I didn't do it myself. My sister does it. It took me 4 hours. 4 hours to do that. It was. Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah. You know who I talked to? I talked to Danny the other day. And
who?
Yeah. And then
who?
Danny.
Oh, Danny. Oh, yeah. He's a clown.
He's not like when usually in a debate, you will have somebody who will make the assertion of a positive and you'll have a contention. So as a person that make a positive claim, I'm asking him for a contention. And he admit that he has no contention to my claim.
Well, he has no defensible worldview. Okay, so if he's going to make assertions or denials, it's going to have to depend upon his model of reality. But Danny has no defensible model of reality.
Then you will say like you have to prove why yours is necessarily true. Then I told him like
it's already been done. It's already been done. It's just that you just reject the proof because of your sinful disposition.
But in a debate format, let's say even if I was wrong, in a debate format, if I were to then assert a positive claim and there's no contention to my claims, the positive claim will then win, regardless if whether the positive claim was actually wrong or not. Because I make the assertion and there is no contention. Therefore, I would win by default. I think that's something that was understood when it comes to debate, that somebody make a positive claim, and there's no contention to a claim, right? That there is nothing to discuss.
Look, Danny is one of these philosopher sophists. I wouldn't waste your time talking with him. He has no identifiable, defensible model of reality. Since he doesn't, then he shouldn't be making assertions or denials about anything.
It's just like, well, you have to explain to people. What it's like he trying to like he make words. He uses words very good. He's a very good manipulator when it comes to the way.
Yeah, look. I know Danny from years gone by. He's a little deceiver. Okay.
And he understands how to use the word and trying to use the audience to his advantage. Like,
notice Danny never will put on the table his model of reality. Therefore, whenever he makes assertions of what is or cannot be, it's a figment of his imagination because he has no worldview to undergird that. Okay? So Danny is a blowhard. Right? He has no worldview to put on the table that's identifiable and defensible to undergird his assertions of what is and cannot be.
I see.
He's just trying to deceive people with mental gymnastics.
Semantics. It's all about the
mental and verbal gymnastics.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I wanted to ask you, Darth, what would be the problem with multiple gods?
That's an incoherent notion if by God you mean ultimate. If by gods you mean agents that have supernatural powers but are not a creator God, well, then that would be a different story. Which do you mean?
Okay, let's start with agents, supernatural power.
The God of creation, the God of the Bible, has revealed in Isaiah 43, 44, 45, 46, there are no other gods. They only exist as concepts within people's minds. They're not real.
And when you say God, you mean creator gods, right?
In Isaiah 43, 44, 45, 46, it's repeated over and over again. I, the Lord, am the only God. I am the only creator. There are no other gods, either before or after me. Okay? There are only gods in concept form alone. Okay?
And how would you count multiple gods? Right? You count by separation. So when would you say God, would you then say that those gods will be there, therefore bound by space and time, where you can actually count from 1 to 2?
Yeah. So you can't have two eternal entities that are agents that we call God, because in order to be God as creator, you have to be ultimate, which means everything outside of yourself derives and depends upon you. In order to be God with a capital G, right? everything else must derive and depend upon you. You cannot have another entity that is coexistent or coextensive, okay, from eternity. Because neither one of you would be God. No, necessarily.
There are Celtic, and
you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I literally said two words. So it's very ignorant.
But I'm telling you right now, you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, but
I'm not here talking about religion.
Well, you're not here. We're here to have a conversation.
Let me explain to you. Did you hear me say God with a capital G? God with a capital G refers to that which is singular, the singular causal ground of all being, that is classified or characterized as being ultimate. To be ultimate means you're singular.
That is not what God is defined as.
Okay, sir,
I'll bet you money.
Sir, I'm not. Listen to me. I'm not going to bicker with you like a teenager. You don't know what you're talking about. When we use the word God in Western civilization with a capital G,
okay, now you're almost generalizing. You sound very uneducated. You sound very uneducated.
Bye, dum. No. I don't suffer fools very long. Okay. If you want to talk about these junior deities, like in the Norse gods or the Greek and Roman pantheon, okay, these are not God with a capital G, right? These are beings or agents that have supernatural capabilities, but are not ultimate, meaning that they are the ground of all being and that all things derive and depend. All things that are not themselves derive and depend upon themselves. So they're not God with a capital G. They're just simply contingent beings, right, that exist from some other ultimate foundation, of which have possibly supernatural powers, right, over and against human beings, right? Now, God has made it very clear in Isaiah, there are no other gods. They don't exist.
So do these other beings have the power to create in some shape or form?
I just explained to you from the biblical position, right? The biblical worldview, God has revealed himself. He is the only God, the only creator. There are no other gods. They do not exist.
So how if they do not have the power of creation,
they don't exist at all. That's why he's saying.
Look, do you understand? You said they don't exist.
But didn't they create the Nephilim?
Okay, sir, there is God, angels, and man. There are no gods in a biblical worldview. If you choose to reject the biblical world, then you're not going to have any grounds to say what is or is not. Okay? But I'm telling you, from a biblical worldview, there are no gods. There is only the God of the Bible himself alone.
So all things that are were created by the ultimate being called God, right?
Yeah. If you read John 1, if you read Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning God, if you read Colossians 1, if you read Revelation where it says Jesus is the origin of the entire creation, okay, God is the ultimate source of all things that are not himself.
Did he create the Nephilim?
The Nephilim in the Old Testament is their identity is a matter of dispute even among theologians.
The Nephilims are like believe in Genesis where they were it's like a mix between angels and human beings.
All right, I'm going to take a break. Thank you for having me up, but watch out for all these brainiacs out here, these super geniuses.
Yeah, no problem, man.
By the way, did you get the Objective Proof for Christianity book yet?
I had the Objective Proof for Christianity book yet. It's just I haven't had time. I'm working. I haven't even been on live.
All right, if you don't start reading it, you get no dessert tomorrow night. All right. Thanks for having me up again.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. Anytime. Have a good day. God bless. God bless, my brother. I need to finish reading that book. I'm not good reading books. I read books with illustration, But I'm not good with any other books, man. I should stop being lazy and actually read it. But I've been busy too much lately. I've been busy too much, really. It's just a matter of fact that I'm busy. So what we're saying is that we don't think that atheists think unaliving is fine, right? That's not the point we're trying to pass across, right? The point we're trying to pass across is that there is no objective, right? There's nothing that is objective that atheists will refer to say that something is wrong, right? When atheist said something is bad, it's the same thing as somebody that says, I prefer chocolate over vanilla. But they don't realize that, so they're gonna say it's bad. Where in that same worldview, they would agree that everybody should be able to have their own opinion. Right? And then they would have also in the same worldview that they have no way of knowing whether their opinion are above somebody else. So if their opinion are not above somebody else's opinion, then at the end of the day, when somebody that actually commit the unaliving of that person, right, the atheist will not find it wrong that person unalive somebody. He might prefer not to do it, the action, but at the end of the day, they're just saying it's wrong, but it's not actually wrong. It's just, I prefer not to do it. But in that same worldview, they would have to also include that this person prefer to do it. So, in an atheist worldview, the morality is down to basic personal preference. It is not actual morality, where it is a system that is not arbitrary, that actually exists in reality, where you can point out at an action that happens in reality to be good or bad. Morality is not subjective, slightly large soup. I would disagree with that statement. Saying morality is subjective is the worst. It's the same thing as saying it's a personal preference. If you're gonna say morality is a personal preference, then there's no way you should be able to condemn Mussolini. There's no way you should be able to condemn the mustache men that live in Germany. Why? Because if it's only subjective, then it doesn't exist in actual reality. So the action that was committed in reality is not actually wrong. Do you not understand that? The moment you make things to be personal and arbitrary is the moment you lose the argument. Are you an atheist?
Yes, I am.
Or is morality subjective or is it objective?
It's subjective.
Okay. So would you say that everybody, which is what subjective is that everybody has the right to have their own personal way of seeing things?
Not necessarily, because even though there are like...
Do you have your own personal way of seeing your thing?
I do have my own subjective morality.
Yes. So they can't have subjective in itself. I mean, it varies by person, right?
Yeah, but why does it necessarily have to be negative?
Do you think that everybody can come to a conclusion about the same thing?
Not necessarily, because I grew up in a culture that was very conservative, and like
okay. The reason why is that subjectivity. The question will be: do you think you are higher than somebody else when it comes to personal opinion?
It depends. It depends on the.
Okay, what would be the things that will give you points? That will give your personal preference above somebody else. What would that be? Can you?
Because I'll give you one example, right?
I want you to give it to me. The justification into why you're better than somebody else, others' personal opinion.
I'll give you one example. That's what I'm trying to do.
Not what I don't want example. I want you to actually give me a justification, not an example.
How it affects not just me, but others in society, whether positively or negatively.
Positive and negative are subjective as well.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
If a parent beat you, right? Let's say they beat you, right? They beat you to make you a better person. That's different from they
make you a better person
because they're not good people.
Quite to what? My parents could beat me and thinking that they want to make me a better person, but it make me worse. So
intention could have a negative effect.
Positive in itself is something you assign value to. That's subjective, sir.
Yes, it is subjective, but
good. Then if positive and negative are subjective, basically everything you just said right now is based on subjectivity all over again. I'm asking you, what's the thing you can point to determine that your personal value are above somebody else's? What's that?
How, like I said, what positive effect?
Again, we already gone to that discussion that positive is subjective things. You're just repeating yourself all over again.
Okay, let me ask you this.
What is the thing that you can actually point to that will put your personal what your personal value is above somebody else? What is that?
How it pleasantly